Endwalker's the worst 14 expansion I have played. That's not true. You played World of Warcraft as well, Zepla. Okay, let's watch this. Oh, she got an intro now.
Hey Buns, today.
Wow, it's not an XAV expansion. It is when the expansion in World of Warcraft is so bad that you go play 14 instead.
But I myself actually got really burnt out for the first time in the entire time I've been playing.
Okay, I am confused about when she says burned out. That's because I've seen her streams. Does she do anything? Like, nothing against Zepla, like, however the fuck you make your content, but it's like, anytime I tune into her streams, she's in that little cafe in Charlotte, and she's just sitting there talking, reacting to content. She sometimes raids, sometimes, but usually her groups fall apart and she just then sits and reacts. What is she fucking burnt out on, though?
Playing these games, which is since 2015.
Especially after she took a break for so long. She played I know she still plays classic World of Warcraft. She plays Genshin. She plays other games. And she sometimes logs in to stay AFK in 14. Maybe I'm missing something. What the fuck does she do in 14? I wish I would... Maybe she'll iterate on that.
I've been a player ever since then, and it was the first time that I actually felt like I really needed to step away and take a breather, and I did. I did just that, because although I had thought about a lot of these things...
Oh, she's mainly talking about her burnout before she took a break.
Am I being unfairly negative? Am I being a hater? So I took that break, and I came back feeling refreshed and revitalized and in love with the game again, and I'm having fun again. I'm
good.
Working on my glams, I'm raiding, I'm doing the hunt trains,
Do hunt trains... What? Do people, like, actively do hunt trains for fun? Does someone, like, log in and just does hunt trains for fun?
My bluebird bow, which I love.
What? Okay.
And I can't wait to get the bunny staff. These are amazing. So,
oh, it's just
Dawn Trail. Looking forward to the Fan Fest in London, and overall, you know, back in love with this game that means so much to me and is really home for me. But with all that said, looking back now with a much more clear mind, I think I definitely feel that the concerns that I had before, some of them definitely had real merit. And I think it's not a coincidence that it's not just me, but almost everyone I know seems to be burnt out with FFXAV right now and just not logging into the game or raid logging or just completely disinterested.
I don't like the argument of like, ain't everyone I know. Who are these they? Give us someone. Like, even when you watch Arthas or Xeno's video, they always reference each other. They will also reference like other raiders who might have like a different opinion or the same one. But it's like, who are these they she's talking about? I don't know anyone she collabs with or plays with constantly except like a select few.
I'm feeling like, well, there's so little pressure to log in, and I could either log in now or...
My whole criticism, I guess I need to know more about Zepla, I guess.
Maybe next year, or maybe in 5 years, you know. And so, yes, there's still one more patch, but we know exactly what is going to be in it because, for better or for worse, this has been very, very predictable too. And I'm seeing social groups sort of dissolve, and it sucks. I'm concerned about the state of the MMO, and although I'm not doomsaying, okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not out here like, oh, well, this is the end of FXAV, it's all over, it's ruined. No, I'm not saying that. Okay, but what I am saying is that...
Who is saying that, though? The game is still alive. Like, it's not as active, there's not as much stuff to do, but like any MMO, there's like plenty of shit to do. And there's plenty of people online. Like, even if I just... Like, if you look around and there's still this many people, just even if they're staying AFK in Limsa, it's like... It's still alive. It's still fine. Anyone applied? No.
There are concerning signs, and I'm seeing less engagement from everyone I personally know. And then I thought, well, you know...
Again, who are these they? God damn.
You know, maybe I'm just
Receipts!
my group of people that I know. So I went on Twitter and I asked the question to do a vibe
Everyone I know tell me that Paladin needs to be top DPS. Wink.
check of the community. Be honest. How do you feel about the Endwalker patches? And I was honestly shocked by the number of people that just felt like it's underwhelming, it's lackluster, it's just not that interesting. These are not people who are saying, it's terrible, I hate it, it sucks. It's not really what I'm hearing that much. What I'm hearing is, it's mid. It's fine. I don't really care that much. I'm hearing apathy. I'm hearing
Like, all things considered, because I came from World of Warcraft, and usually when you are bored in that game, you usually hear the same fucking excuse. Have you collected all the mounts? And it's like, there's nothing else to fucking do in that game. You can do some Mythic Plus, but it's like you can only go so high, and like you can only grind that so far. Everything else is on weekly reclear. It's like people are burnt. Like, I don't think these people are burnt out and the downtime. I think people are just bored or just not bothering to do anything else. You know who the fuck aren't complaining? Role players and crafters. They're still fucking active. Like, the couple of crafters that I know, including like Ashtan, like, they're still preparing. They're active. They're all over the place. Like, buying like cerulean tanks and crafting. Like, the market board is still fucking a fucking stock market of Wolf of Wall Street kind of thing. It's like only like content creators are fucking complaining because they spend long hours playing this game. Maybe some other people as well, but I feel like it's just people who are just bored of the game. I don't think they're burnt out. It's kind of same in XIV weekly reclears. That's true. But there's usually just 2 things on, like, well, 3 things on weekly reclear. Alliance raid until that but like most of the stuff gets unlocked. Like for example, I was bored. I took a break from raiding. I took a break from Savage and Ultimate, and then I went and did UCOP. And like, instead of being bored, I cleared some content. Like, I cleared the fight, and it actually reinvigorated me. Just because it's like there's plenty of new stuff to do. Dungeons, like even the mounts. It's like, you probably saw like I had like a tab of like mounts I want to collect. That's why we're doing the Criterion soon as well. It's like, there's plenty of shit to do. People are just not willing to do it. Like, you're bored. Yeah, that's true. But I know you haven't completed like the first variant dungeon. You haven't cleared all the path and gotten the mount. And let's say that's content is just not your cup of tea, but it's like, there is way more stuff to do in this game than others. People are just not really willing to do them. Dungeons are just wall to wall. You have not done Criterion, have you? It is not wall to wall. It is way... We're gonna have fun tomorrow, aren't we? Like, watch some guides.
like it's okay. And honestly, that's not gonna cut it. Like, if we want to keep people playing this game long term and have people to play with, I feel like the game is going to have to find ways to get more people excited about it and get more people happy, looking forward to log in. I can't wait to log in and play FXIV, because especially this year, I think what we're starting to see is that there are a ton.
She's being very dramatic. Like, they need to do something for the longevity of this game. It's like one poor expansion. It's like people aren't even saying this is a bad expansion. It's an okay expansion. Meanwhile, World of Warcraft has had like multiple shit expansions, sometimes even in a row. BFA, Shadowlands, and it's like even Dragonlance right now. It's an okay expansion. It's not a good one. It's good compared to the last 2, but it's an okay expansion, and people haven't fucking... That game's still alive. No matter how many people... no matter how many videos people make about how stupid that game is. And like 14 is just one fucking okay expansion is just not gonna fucking affect longevity of this game.
Ton of really quality games coming out, and they are, for better or worse, of really
Hold
quality
on. None of these games are MMO. This is a poor comparison. You should not be comparing an MMORPG to fucking single-player epic campaigns. Final Fantasy 16, Armored Core, Starfield. All of these are like story games and single-player games. They're better games, but they're also not gonna. Nobody has like 15,000 hours in Final Fantasy 16 or maybe Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is psychotic. Even I play it too much. But like nobody has the same hours in any of these games that they have in Final Fantasy 14. This is a very poor comparison.
And they are, for better or worse, in competition for your time. And it's wonderful that FXCV does not, pressure you so much to log in. It has never done that. But in the past expansions, we have...
I still don't think like a lot of games are in competition for your time against an MMORPG. Like, even her, she says these things, she'll still log in and she'll still sit in a cafe AFK and talk to people. Her time is still spent there, even if she would rather play Baldur's Gate 3.
Although the game hasn't been pressuring you too much to log in, there have been exciting things that we could all log in together to do, that people have reasons to do. Yes, it is normal for, after a patch has been out for a while, people to get burnt out and bored. It's normal for, at the end of an expansion's life cycle, for people to get, I'll just go do other stuff. That's okay. That always happens. But what I'm seeing is this happening soon after, like a week after a major patch comes out, or like I started to see this phenomenon after the first like major patch of the whole expansion, 0.1 patch, 0.2 patch, 0.3 patch. This should not be as big of a phenomenon as it is so early on in the life cycle of the expansion.
Again, I don't think Zepla is... I think Zepla is too casual of a player. Like, all the casual content is easily done. The fun is always in the mid-core content. She's not really a raider. She's a person that raids, but she's not really a raider. Because raiders are having fun, going to party fires, helping people clear, or just joining prog groups. They're actively raiding. There's a reason Pato has like over 50 kills in UCOP. And it's like... to make people like these happy, you need more casual content. Though what the game needs is more mid-core content, like more writing, even more crafted stuff, more whatever the fuck, something to tickle people a bit more.
And so I'm worried, and we're gonna talk about all the contributing factors. And if you're having a good time, good for you. I'm not gonna tell you that you shouldn't be having fun. If you're having fun, great, keep at it. But this is an MMO, right? And we want people to be excited to log in. If they're not, then it's just not as good. It's not a single player game, even though lately it feels like they are trying to turn it into that. One thing I keep hearing from people...
How are they trying to turn it into a single player game? I'm very confused. A lot of her like argumentation is just kind of like out of nowhere.
Well, is that, I'm burnt out. But I don't think that's even the right word, because with burnout, you think normally
you're bored.
That's when you do something so much, so often, every day, so hard and so long that you just get sick of it and you can't.
The game has enough stuff to do. There's just not enough stuff to do that you would like to do. You're bored. You're not burnt out. And you're just tired of being bored for so long. It need harder normal dungeons to farm with better rewards with tomes and either bigger raids or something else for casuals. I do agree on like harder dungeons. Or I'm too used to WoW raids. Probably. This could be a fun idea actually, just to make a little project, like just to sketch out like how can we fix the expansion? How can we make it more fun?
Can't think about it. You don't want to think about it anymore. You're tired of it. And it's such a relief to stop. But this isn't really what I'm seeing with people. These are people that want to do something. It's more like how burnout is actually thought of in the car world, where you just sit there You stay put, and you're spinning the wheels, but you're not going anywhere.
It's called being bored. Again, you're not doing anything you like, and there's not enough stuff that you would like to do, but there's plenty of shit to do. There's plenty of content to go back and do. Even not a code go back, like even in this expansion, there's plenty of shit to do. But you don't want to do it. You're bored. You're not burnt out.
Getting in the car, there's a lot of smoke. This car could be fun.
Like, even the cars, the reason they're not going anywhere is because you pull the fucking brake. You can go at a certain speed, but if you got the handbrakes down, you're not going anywhere.
You can drive at some point, but that point is not right now, because you are stationary. Now, one thing...
It would be fun to join Extreme or Savage with mixed raid size whenever you like, and not be limited to that 8 people. Either you are able to come or you can raid stuff. I don't necessarily agree with that, because the game is set on certain mechanics and certain rules and like healer stacks, etc. It's like the moment that fucking gets adjusted for current content, it's all gonna go to shit. That's how people clear shit with like one healer and one tank, or it runs like that. You can do that on previous content, including ultimates, but it's like in current content, like I don't think that should be a thing, because people will find a way to break it.
Thing that I'm really tired of hearing, and I think a lot of us are at this point just sick of hearing, is
again, who are these they and all of us, and who are these people she's mentioning?
Well, Yoshi says that you can just go play other games. If you're not happy with them, just go play other... Well, that's what I've been doing, okay? I played other games for 6 months. Yes, I'm glad I can play other games. I'm glad that FXAV doesn't pressure me to the extent that World of Warcraft used to. But I think that these are two ends of the spectrum.
Hold on, let me check something real quick. I want to double check something real quick. So, name's Solid. I'm actually curious what the fuck she does. Zepla HQ. This is her channel. There's a lot of bot ones too. Okay, what does she play? Final Fantasy 14 Genshin Impact. Okay. What about Zepla at home? Hold on. Three 365 days. Genshin Impact, World of Warcraft, Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah, I don't... Yeah, she's fine.
World of Warcraft being on the extreme end of, oh my god, I have to be on this treadmill and I have to keep up or I'm gonna fall behind and it sucks. That's a way to burn out quickly. And now FXAV is so far and going further in the other end of the spectrum of, oh, there's so little pressure on me that I could either do this today or I could do it next year. You know, like, this also has a similar effect of just having people not in the game. They're just not playing the game, ultimately. That's the end result.
What is she fucking on about? All the content is still active and still being done. Maybe not as active as it would be as on patch 1 or even patch 2, but it's like all the, like, even content from like 2 expansions ago, all the ultimates and Savage are being done. Let me even check. Party Finder. Log. Kitty Farm. Storms. Jade Stoa. Second Circle. DSR Biz Farm. That's being done. Ultimates. DSR. T. Uwu. UCOP. Look how many UCOP groups are there. Starmer React. I am reacting. Clubs, sure, why the fuck not? But it's like Delibrum Regina as well. Like, people are making groups just to farm some content from there, but it's like, what is she on about? It may be not as active, but it's like all content is still being done. Toxic Rack? No, like, maybe I am being a bit toxic, but it's like, I'm very confused what the fuck she's talking about. Because it all just sounds like she's super bored and she's frustrated that she's bored and wants to play more Final Fantasy 14, but can't find what the fuck she likes to play. Because how do you explain, like, I get burned down on World of Warcraft because there's too much to do. I get burnt out on Final Fantasy 14 because I don't do much there anymore. It's like... Okay, maybe I'm being a bit too toxic, but it's like I feel like she's just exaggerating a lot of fucking things that she's saying right now.
And this damages social groups. It
Damage to social groups. What is she talking about?
damages the health of the game and the longevity of the game, because a lot of times people will go play other games and they just won't come back.
Good, fuck them. That's how we ended up with so many people from World of Warcraft in this game.
Motivated or interested or incentivized.
And they're still raiding and clearing shit.
At end game. I think that it's really helpful to listen. I cannot believe I'm saying to Ian Hazuko's. Just hear me.
Okay.
I stand by this because he does explain really well why it is important to incentivize players somewhat to play the game that you're making. And this is from the interview that Mike from Preach Gaming had with Ian.
I would also like to point out that Ian Hazukosis is also as part of the people who are responsible for World of Warcraft, who have had 2 atrocious and horrible fucking expansions in a row, and that's after Worlds of Draenor as well. And the game that is World of Warcraft is still fucking standing just fucking fine.
At Blizzard HQ, about 6...
She's blowing this, like, what... a short content drought, like, she's blowing it out of proportions. This is just driving me up the wall right now for no reason.
Months ago, and this particular part of the interview really stood out to me, because to me, I heard FXAV all over this.
You know, our goal is never habit in the sense of, like, you have to log in when you don't want to. Our goal is for you to want to log in. Our goal is for you to want to play World of Warcraft and to look forward to getting back into the game, to have something you want to complete, something you want to chase. And if you're not wanting it, then...
I know free-to-play MMO is still alive despite having, like, max 100 people online, as long as people spend money. That's true. There's even, like, very old game. I think it's either Titan Quest, like, one of the first ones, or, like, I remember I saw a video about it. A game that was literally selling, like, bot services as part of their shop. And that game is still active.
Getting you to do it despite that isn't a victory for us. It's just burning people out. And so I think giving people the freedom to feel like they can take a step away, do something in real life, play another game for a while without falling behind is valuable. I think the one thing that we do worry about when it comes to...
Isn't Ian also the guy that was convinced that fucking mana pearls in which expansion? In BFA were a good fucking idea? This is a lot of I like to say things so that people will like the things I say. You know? So it's like I'm taking this with a huge grain of salt.
Sort of
just saying these things, it's like we all want to hear these things.
The social nature of the game is, sort of the critical mass of keeping a group together. If the person who is really excited to log in to do things with their guildmates logs in, and no one from their guild is online because of whatever reason, and then they just log back off, kind of...
Because people make guilds just for fucking banks in World of Warcraft. There are millions of guilds. What the fuck is Reactstrummer We're still naked? Shut the fuck up. World of Warcraft guilds will literally make guilds just for their alts to have banks. It's like you're gonna log in and you're gonna see like 3 major guilds on each server. You're either gonna make a very tiny guild that's gonna die eventually because people will still just be absorbed. Like Method or Echo, those guilds will have members. It's like you will either eventually get absorbed by those, or it's like you're gonna try to make a guild because it's a requirement to be part of the guild to raid in that game for some fucking reason. And raiding doesn't work out, guild fucking dies. So it's like, it's very difficult to make even a social guild is very difficult to make in World of Warcraft. It's like, that is a different kind of problem here.
I'm disappointed because they were hoping to play with friends, but their friends weren't around. That can be an issue. And I think that's something, going back to WoD, to Warlords of Draenor, that was probably the peak of the raid logging era, where really... In
World of Warcraft, during content drought, I would literally log into World of Warcraft just to ask people if they wanted to play League.
There was like, I've been checking your garrison. If it wasn't raid night, there was nothing to do. That felt like a step too far toward that end of the spectrum.
We joked around whenever Endwalker came out that, oh, Island Sanctuary, that's going to be the garrison of Final Fantasy XIV. And I thought we were kidding, but we weren't. It is. It is actually. It feels a lot like the garrison.
That is such a fucking stupid comparison. I can see why you would compare it, but it's like the garrison is the most atrocious fucking piece of content in World of Warcraft. Like, it's like people till this day are still trying to get that fucking PvP thing done in their garrison, or they just fucking replace it with something else. That garrison was so fucking useless. It was empty and was doing nothing for almost 2/3 of the expansion. You would pick up your mission to grind Apex crystals, and then you would just forget you have a garrison. Island Sanctuary is already by fucking miles better. It's not perfect, and it's not great, but it's way better than Garrison. This is a stupid comparison.
This expansion reminds me a lot of Warlords of Draenor, which sucks.
Because, like, people in World of Warcraft were actually forced to be in garrisons. Because, like, there wasn't a major city where you would hang out in Worlds of Draenor. There wasn't, like, a big capital. You would just hearth back to your garrison. Or your Hearthstone was literally set to Stormwood or other fucking cities outside of the Warlords of Draenor.
Sounds like she's simplo Kigo 3 me out.
I'm not simping. It's just like, it's just realistically. It's like, remember when we were fucking being miserable in Warlords of Draenor? Where would we go when we were not doing content or we wanted to, like, Hearthstone somewhere to respec? To the garrison. Because after the garrison, we would take the flight path or flight from there to go somewhere in Warlords of Draenor. I did not play them with you, but you remember Warlords of Draenor. There was no capital city, pretty much. You just had to go to fucking Warlords to your stupid garrison. You were literally forced to be there, no matter if it was level 1, 2, or 3. And you had to grind it out for main story. Meanwhile, Island Sanctuary, it was literally meant for fucking farming gamers. You know who the fuck is actually not complaining about Island Sanctuary? They are complaining, but like no one's saying it's horrible content like she's making it out to be. It's like specifically people who are into farming content. It could be a lot better. It's not great. It's not perfect. But it could be a lot better. But it could be a lot worse, like the garrison. No.
I quit World of Warcraft during Warlords of Draenor. No, it's not as bad. It's not anywhere near as bad.
I literally just checked the stat. You still play World of Warcraft.
But I'm sensing a lot of the same vibes of, like, loneliness. And, like, I'm not even in an MMO anymore. One of the biggest reasons why Endwalker has spelled...
I'd like to point out, she says a lot about, like, social damaging. Yet, she still logs in, even if it's for stream and for content. She logs in, she hangs out in the same cafe, and she's surrounded by people. The social damage is not existent. I don't know what she's talking about. Maybe someone different in a different position could give me a better insight than this, but I don't think social damage should be coming out of her mouth.
Pretty lonely and isolating in the same ways that Warlord...
Is this... No, she just... Like, she logs in, she's surrounded by people. I even... It's already highlighted as a friend. She is not fucking lonely in this game. I don't know what she's on about.
What Draenor felt to me all those years ago is the lack of an exploration zone, the lack of anything like Bajra or Eureka or Zadnor. We just don't have that, and there's nothing added to the game that could even remotely replace that. And it's not even so much about, like, oh, well, I just love farming fates in Bajra. I just love hunting down little items that has a tiny drop rate, and it's not really even so much about the specific things there was to do in Bajra. It's about the vibe.
What the fuck does she mean by vibe? What the fuck does that mean? It's like, now she's saying there's plenty of stuff to do, but it's not the vibe. I'm so fucking confused now.
Eureka and Bajra. It's about...
Because Eureka is still active. We went there recently. Maybe I went, but it's like some of us went there like a few months ago as well. It's like it's still active. People are still there. Same with Bajra. What vibe is she talking about?
Being in a zone filled with tons of other players that reminds you that you're in an MMO.
I feel like this is just a very winded out video just to say that she wants world PvP or some shit. Because that was a selling point in World of Warcraft and BFA as well, but it's like it still died out really quickly.
That there's a lot of people playing the same game as you, and it's really exciting, and we're all happy to be there for different reasons. Like, you might be in Baja because you're leveling, or because you're working on a relic, or because you're doing duels, or because you're collecting mounts, or because you're farming guild, or you're doing cluster farming. There's a ton of different reasons why all kinds of different people would meet in these places. And you might meet people that you wouldn't have known otherwise. You might meet people that were strangers to you before, but you have shared this common purpose, and then you meet more often, and that's how you make friends in the game. That's one of the beautiful things about an MMO. But with the content that they're releasing now, which is like solo stuff and small group stuff, you're usually going in there with people you know or alone. And
I literally watched Arthas party find Criterion Dungeons for 3 hours. I don't think she again, I think she just she just doesn't have content she wants to do. It's just there's like, again, there's plenty of stuff to do, and many ways to do them, and many ways to find friends and socialize and all this stuff she's talking about. But there's just not enough stuff that she will like to do. Because that's all I'm hearing, honestly.
And it sucks because it's like, where else can you even show off your mount to other players in the game? Like, you can't do it in the city. Baja was the...
She's spoiled by World of Warcraft. Like, why would... Like, who the fuck shows off their mounts in this game? We all get the same mounts, eventually. There's no prestige to having certain mounts. Unless Ultimate starts dropping mounts, then yeah. But there's a reason we get shiny weapons instead. We show them off in Limsens by standing AFK.
The place to do that. It's the place where everyone is. It's the place that's happening that makes you feel like, oh, there's something cool going on and everybody else is doing it and I can't wait to be there with them. That's the heart and soul of an MMO.
Sometimes you get little fucking orchestras gathering and everyone gather around them.
And without that, it just feels really, really empty, frankly. And I definitely feel like the lack of a place like that where everyone is, that feels like it's popping off, like this is the place to be, it might contribute to, or even be, a self-fulfilling prophecy where you get it into your head, well, I barely see anyone else, and so this game is dead, right? Of course that is going to be reinforced if you're not doing anything. You're not called to do anything where you can actually see. Okay,
hear me out on this, and bear with me, but have you considered doing something? Anything. Again, she's making a lot of points for me that there's a lot of stuff to do, but if her whole shtick is that the vibe isn't checked for her, do something else.
Tons of other players around. I've been finding myself happy to see lots of people standing around the Aetheryte. And that's about as far as it gets in me feeling like I'm in an MMO. And frankly, that's unacceptable. One of the reasons that we have...
It makes me feel like I'm in an MMO. And frankly, that's not acceptable. She complained that the game feels like single player earlier. She's all over the road right now. Maybe I'm being too toxic, but like a lot of the stuff she's saying just feels like word padding at this point. She's gesticulating a lot. She's being very dramatic, like, oh my god, the longevity, the social damage. But it's like, I'm like, what, lady, are you okay? Do you have heart medicine? What's up?
Had those before, and we don't now, is because in the past, Eureka and Baja, these exploratory zones, they were tied in with the relic journey. And for whatever reason, not...
Oh my fuck. Was this whole fucking rant for 12 minutes was about the fucking relic that you wanted to socialize in Baja and Crystarium Tower Alliance raids? And people don't play, yeah, it's mostly not what you want, and people don't play MMO like we used to do. People enjoy doing story solo more and then raid with people. Yeah, pretty much.
Not only did they choose to remove these zones,
they chose to remove these zones. I'm still pretty sure the reason there's not a zone is because of COVID. Obviously not acceptable. That's not an excuse. I still want a zone like that. I still want another boss or Eureka. But it's like, this is very fucking drastic wording. They chose.
From Endwalker completely. But they also removed the Relic Journey.
The Relic Journey. Fuck's sake. Every time the fucking same argument. My Relic Journey. I wanted to farm the same thing 30 times, but I want it differently than what I'm getting now. It's like fucking freelancing all over again. Give me the thing that I want, but give it in the way that I want it.
There is no Relic Journey for Endwalker. You cannot say that turning in tombstones each time counts as a Relic Journey.
Yes, it does, because the Manderville fucking Relic questline, and he, she, they, whatever the fuck people you know, I'm pretty sure I have friends who have not completed the Manderville questline. There's a whole backlog across 3 expansions that needs to be done just to get to the relic weapons, and you want another fucking journey on top of it to farm alliance raids. You're grinding tombstones anyway. You can do them in the same crystal tower if you feel like it. You're gonna get the same fucking result, however you want it. The current relic is a joke. I do agree. It is connected to a very joke questline. And it's like, I can get why some people are upset about it, but it's like, the journey is just like, it's still there. It's just like, it's not in a way you like it. But some other people fucking love it. I love it. I've done multiple relics in from Heavensward and a few from Stormblood. Like, I'm down for those grinds, but it's like, sometimes I'm fucking tired. And I've completed the entire Manderville questline to this point. I should be allowed to chill for a bit as well. I'm still grinding those tombstones for the relic weapons. But it's like to just like not like the relic questline because I swear to God, if she's just gonna say the word vibe again, I will fucking screech.
So let me explain if you're new. In the past, in every other expansion of Final Fantasy XIV ever, the Relic has been a very special weapon that has been a journey for you to get. Now,
what is the fucking journey though?
Vibe check.
Because as far as I remember, every relic weapon that I've done, the journey was go get resources, farm them out all over the place, and bring them to the same fucking bald blacksmith, and he will make shit for you. It's like, what other journey do you want? You're still doing the same thing. You're out to get stuff. Even if you're getting the same resources, the fucking meteorites with the tombstones. Like, you had to get some stuff with tombstones in for the Heavensward relics as well. You had to get certain resources. Actually, I think there was like 2 steps in Shadowbringers as well. We had to get those resources and bring them back to the bald fucking blacksmith. What is the journey she's talking about? Oh, React Andy. Yes, we're reacting today. No, I mean, we already have to spend dungeon 10 times in a row to cap tomes for the week, and now we have to do the same thing 3 times for a weapon. I mean, at least it's not like the tombstones you need to grind for the relics. They're very easy to get. I got them passively by just doing PvP or doing other stuff or roulettes or anything else. It's not as, it's like, it just makes it frustrating to do. If you think that's frustrating, do you want to go back and do Crystal Tower 30 times again? Fuck no.
usually you complete it in stages, each stage becoming increasingly more cool looking, shiny. It transforms over time. And with each stage, you need to go grind some materials. You need to go, I don't know, farm fates, maybe do some dungeon or whatever.
Fates and dungeons give tombstones. Perfect.
You get the materials you need to upgrade it to the next stage.
We get meteorites, resources.
And so it's this long process that's meant to cover the entire expansion, and it really is casual content. Because
Grinding tombstones is pretty casual.
at the very, very end of it, very end of the expansion.
Look, at some point, I picked up multiple weapons just so I can get multiple fucking different things from the relic for the relic weapon from the same Crystal Tower Alliance raid. We should make the relic farm like Lost Ark and make it take 4 weeks to get one mat that advanced the quest by 0.8. That is World of Warcraft path. Like, grinding it out, and like the Ring questline back in Worlds of Draenor was fucking atrocious. It would literally take you months to get through a stage at certain points. Let's get rid of the relic weapons. I don't think you need to get rid of them. They're pretty cool, but they need to connect it to different stories. I get why they would connect it to the Manderville questline, because, you know, the legendary goldsmith and the bald guy that I don't remember the name of still. And I get that, but it's like they need to connect it to something a bit more epic rather than these two having a drink and us getting tombstones. Make it a bit more lore-wise fun, I guess. But like tombstones, fuck yeah, give me that shit. Like, not everyone wants to yeah, Geralt. Like, not everyone wants to grind Crystal Tower 30 times. Sometimes we want to chill and get a pretty weapon for tombstones. It's like the whole argument of like the journey. It's like, it's still the same thing. You're doing the same thing repeatedly getting tombstones, or you're doing the same thing repeatedly getting some other shit equivalent of tombstones. And then you bring it to Geralt and he makes a weapon for you. It's like...
Then you have a pretty good weapon. And it's a sparkly weapon, and it shows that you had dedication and you had patience, so it's a great way.
Honestly, connect the relic weapon to Criterion. That would actually make it all better. Criterion would be fun to do and farm to get the relic weapon, and, you know, Criterion would be relevant. Not the Savage version, that's garbage, but just the normal Criterion.
For a casual player who maybe doesn't want to raid, to get a really cool weapon that they can be proud of, that shows they were committed to this, and it's something to be proud of for sure. It always has been, but this is the first expansion where
Okay, vote of hands in chat. How many of you guys are proud that you grinded something to get a relic weapon? Out of curiosity. I'm not proud. I'm maybe proud of like a couple of relics in Heaven's Sword, because those are also required to do some raid fights just to be more efficient, but my first relic, but that's it. Maybe Savage for unlocking an extra shiny version. I destroyed my old relics already. What do you mean? Yeah, exactly. Who the fuck is proud? Nobody gets relic. Like, people will get relics for maybe ultimate optimization for BIS. That's like multiple patches ago, or for glamour. Nobody's proud of the journey.
I have not heard shit from anybody about their relics, because the relics are in the game.
Again, she keeps saying, I have not heard from anybody, everybody, anybody I know, and stuff like that. It's like she keeps saying, I don't know anybody. You need to go out and socialize, Zepla.
The relics are still in the game for Endwalker. But to upgrade the relic, this time, just turn in tombstones. And it's not even that many. In fact, most people, you can log in, and if you hadn't been spending tombstones, you have enough. And that's it. It's literally a tombstone weapon. There's no cool, like, there's no process, really, to get it.
Give me an example, Zepla, please. You keep saying, like, the more I'm listening to you, you're describing the same process between every relic weapon and the one in Endwalker. And I'm just like, I'm very confused. What is frustrating? Like, I'm open-minded if there's like something specific that's frustrating you. But so far, you're saying very similar things to me. And at this point, I'm more confused than frustrated at what you're saying.
Anymore. There's no journey. They just removed.
Give us an example. Jesus fuck.
That completely. Why? Why did they do this? I literally.
We were in Shadowbringers, and we had to go back all the way to Realm Reborn and do Crystal Tower 30 times. What is the journey there?
Like, I do not understand.
It's not even lore connected, by the way. You just had to go there.
We have tombstone weapons already. Why do we need another worse tombstone weapon? I am truly baffled by this decision, by them to get rid of this thing that also served the very important purpose of keeping people engaged with the game a lot between patches. It's the thing that, like, it gave you something to do between patches.
I mean, you can still do it. It's like, whatever the difference is, whatever resources you need to bring to Geralt, you can still do it. It's not stopping you from doing it. What do you mean?
For example, I think it was at the end of Stormblood.
Okay, example.
There was a big content drought, like a giant one. And
Like the one right now, by the way.
maybe, I'm pretty sure it was end of Stormblood. And somebody had asked Yoshi P, what do we do? Waiting. It's such a long drought. What do we do? Waiting for the next expansion. And he said, oh, just get every relic weapon. And people were kind of mad at him at the time because it was kind of a cop-out answer, but it was a valid.
I feel like Yoshi P was in the same fucking mindset as I am right now when all of these people are saying, like, I'm burned out from doing nothing in game. There's just nothing to do. I'm not doing the stuff I haven't done, but there's just nothing to do for me. What should I do? And it's like, if you're gonna tell them, like, do something you haven't done yet, like collecting all the relics, clear some of the ultimates. Like Zepla, I know you haven't cleared top, but you progged it for fucking miserable amounts of time. Go finish that. But obviously they're gonna fucking frown upon you.
Valid answer because getting each one was time consuming. That's
Just like top. Just like farming tombstones. Everything is very time consuming.
really the purpose that it served in the past was to keep you busy waiting for the content. But without that, it's almost like they deliberately are now choosing to not have you play the game between the patches.
Again, it could also be because there's an entire backlog of several expansions worth of quest lines before you even are able to unlock the relic weapon. And if you add an actual fucking grind similar to the one in Shadowbringers, this whole quest line is going to be very fucking unreasonable. Especially for people who, for example, want to get alts up to date to optimize ultimates or even savages. So sometimes the ultimate weapon is better for savage. And it's like, they have to go through all of those expansions worth of quest lines just to unlock a relic weapon. Very fucking unfair if they also have to grind it out at the expansion after the quest line.
This is the first expansion in all my years of playing FXAV.
She's so emotional. She's just gesticulating, just like dynamically and animated, just like, oh, this is the first expansion.
That I don't even know what my relic looks like. I don't know. And my friends who normally send me screenshots of, look, I just got the new relic for my job, and oh, I just got another relic. It's usually a thing we are excited to share because it's a big deal. It's like a big milestone.
Who the Okay, how many of... Fuck's sake. Okay, sharing weapons from Savage. I understand. Many people will share screenshots on Twitter. Many people will share screenshots of ultimate weapons. Sometimes you'll get a funny relic weapon screenshot as well on Twitter. But, like, who the fuck shares screenshots of relic weapons like, hey guys, look at my great achievement. Look at this, I grinded Crystal Tower for 30 times.
Every time.
I feel like she's just padding content. I feel like the drought isn't in game. The drought is just her content right now.
And you get your relic and you upgrade it because it's hard to do. Nobody I know is even getting a relic. Nobody's even going after it now.
Again, who are these they? Who are these people you're talking about?
Because it's not cool. Because it's easy to get. It has no value. Because it's just anyone can get it. So what does it mean? What does it say? Why would they remove this? It just feels like laziness, frankly. It feels like maybe they didn't even want to put it at all, but they felt like they had to, and they put the lowest amount of effort into it as possible. They really phoned it in, and frankly, because this is not what the relic is meant to be. It is meant to be something to keep you busy for a little longer, but it also feels like it's a deliberate choice that they do not want people even logging in that much. They just don't want you to feel like you need to log in at all.
Okay, I still get, like, she needs to make content and, like, whatever the fuck you need to do to get that back. Go, girl. But, like, a lot of the word padding she's doing and a lot of, like, terms she's doing, like, they're lazy. They chose to do it like this because they're lazy. deliberately making me sad. It's just like... I bet she was a theater kid.
It's crazy. Now, the next thing that it pains me to say,
Ooh, it pains.
because I am an MSQ Andy. I live for the main story quest of FXFE, and that will never change.
Uh-huh.
But I have never been more disappointed with the main story quest than I have in this expansion's patches. Now, I loved 6.0. I thought it was great. But the patches have definitely left a lot to be desired. And I was really patient and forgiving for the first couple of major patches. I thought, well, you know, they're setting up for something else, and we're just getting ready to...
See, I don't agree with this. But for this particular topic, I don't agree because I fucking love the story. I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy IV. The moment they showed Golbez, the moment you started fucking... like the story of the Four Fiends and the Zerumus, it's like I was on board. I was on board immediately. I like the story.
Pivot, and there's meant to be a bit of a lull between what's going into the next thing and blah 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 blah. But looking back, I feel like I was just kind of making excuses, and I don't want to say that all of the story and every moment in the whole story was terrible. No, because there were good moments. There was a lot of really nice moments, like the slice of life moments. I thought were some of the better parts. Especially Estinian doing the push-ups, that was really nice.
No, for fuck's sake.
But I feel like it is shameful, and
It's shameful. What are these like words choices she does like for a lot of the content right now? She's just like throwing the most drastic fucking words she can. Shameful story. Shame.
obvious that they, instead of making the trial series side series like we have had with Sorrow of Wyrlit or Four Lords in the past, they instead chose to make it the main story quest. They made the trial series the main story quest. We don't have a trial series.
Fucking good. We're gonna do the story anyway. It's like fucking good. What is the issue if it's like main story or side story? Because at any point they can go back and retcon it, just like they made fucking Crystal Tower mandatory before Shadowbringers, because it was part of the main story then. It's like, what is the, like, how is this a bad point?
We do not have a side series of story.
So is the complaint here that she wants specifically a side bitch story and not a main story? Am I getting this right?
Of the trial bosses, because they have just put it right into the main story quest. So that's less content. Not only is it...
It's the same amount of content. It's just that the story is not side story, it's main story. And some people are not allowed to skip it now. Like, we still, in RFC, sometimes we'll find someone who still hasn't cleared, like, the Four Lords trials or the story to go farm mounts, so we have to go back. So this is good. I don't know what is she on about?
Less story content overall for us, but it's way less interesting.
Huh? It's not less story, and whether or not it's interesting is a very fucking... It differs on perspective, whatever people like or don't like. Again, if she doesn't like the story itself, that's fine. Maybe it's not your cup of tea. Maybe you enjoy different storylines. Me, on the other hand, I love Final Fantasy IV, and all of the story we're going through right now, all the references and raids and everything, and even Extreme Trials, I love it. I am eating that shit. Yum, yum, yum. I love it. I love Zero, people shy. Exactly.
Because as soon as we were aware that there were these archfiends at the very beginning of the expansion, we knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yes, and it was fucking awesome. We knew the story, how it would go, and like everyone who played Final Fantasy IV was fucking excited. Like, fuck yeah, Barbarisa is gonna be fucking hot. Like, I was already planning to, like, counter, like, thinking up strategies, like, if Rubicante would actually counter physical and magical attacks like he did in the game. It's like, obviously he did something else, but it's like, the music, the story, and everything, it was really cool. I don't, like...
Some people are saying, oh, well, it's just because 6.0 big arc ended, and then we got a new arc starting in Dawn Trail, and so this is just in between, so you can't expect anything good. That's honestly bullshit.
Again, this is just a matter of, like, taste. It's like, if you didn't like the story, it's like, not everyone likes Game of Thrones. I think Game of Thrones is stupid. But it's like, I like this story, and I like other stories that other like. It's like, this is just a matter of taste.
Because...
whatever the argument
being
is.
constrained in time to tell a story usually means that it's going to be easier to tell a good story if you spend enough time really plotting that out and considering it. Like, that's one of the major reasons why I often say Shadowbringers was such a solid story expansion, because they needed to tell the entire story of a planet from beginning, middle, and end within the course of one expansion. So there's all these new people you meet, there's this huge climate.
They're still telling that story, though. We're literally going back and forth to that planet. The story is not ended yet.
And they need to wrap it all up before you go. And this made it really satisfying as its own package. So sometimes constraining the story is really, really good, because you can get all the...
We're literally in another world that is dominated by darkness, similar to the one in Shadowbringers. Like, there's the whole story there as well, how the world got engulfed into darkness, how the people who are similar to us, with the Crystal Bearers, or whatever they were called, it's like, there's a whole story about that world. I'm not sure what she's trying to say again.
Juice better. But it feels like they really took a lazy path, to be quite frank. And
again, she's using a lot of, like, big words, but it's just, it all comes down that she just doesn't like the stories. That's just a matter of taste. Like, some people didn't like the story in Stormblood, but, like, some people just enjoyed it a lot because that's their cup of tea. And that's fine.
Decided, oh, well, won't it be so convenient for us to just do callbacks to huge story moments in FF4, try to recreate those. And a lot of times it felt forced, and it felt like we're just artificially trying to recreate this moment from FF4, and I found that to be very frustrating. And we can, instead of having a side story series like Sorrow Wirlet, which I know that's a tough act to follow, we'll just make that the main story quest instead. That has sucked. The story has gotten so predictable that in the previous live letter, they even told us who the next boss was going to be, because they...
Like, as far as I'm remembering, even the story, it's like, even if, like, we're still getting dungeons, it's still part of the story. There's literally the equal amount of stuff to do. We're still getting dungeons, we're still getting extreme trials, and everything in between, whatever the story is, it's like, go talk to this person, whatever you're reading or not, the story. It's like, let's say that, according to her argument, it's like, if there's less story, you have less people that you have to go from point A to point B and click on them. There's less of that, but there's not less content. There's still the same amount of dungeons, same amount of extreme trials. She mad because they traded Bosnia for Island. Literally skip Stormblood except the Azim Step arc, because military conflicts bores me. Exactly, it's like, it's not for everyone, but for some people, like, the whole military arc might have been fun. Same with Shadowbringers, like, being the chosen one, being the dark Batman in a world full of light. It's like, maybe not for everyone, but it's like, some people liked it. Same here, it's like, not everyone liked the reference to Final Fantasy IV. I'm fucking loving it, and I've seen enough people on Twitter just gushing over all the references. But yeah, it's like, I don't know.
They know that we know.
No, they don't know that we know. You're padding words.
And they did it for the last one too. Usually it's like a big secret, like, ooh, we can't even tell you who the new trial boss is gonna be because it's gonna be this huge.
No, we all knew it, and we fucking loved it. The moment we found out there's gonna be 4 fiends that we have to fight, the moment we saw Loporits, or, naming ways, or whatever, it's like, the moment we saw Golbez referenced, we knew, like, Zeromus is gonna be a thing. We knew all of this is gonna happen. Even if it's indirectly, like, we knew it, and we fucking loved it. It's like, not everything used to be a twist or a secret. Like, sometimes, like, expecting the story is great enough.
Huge story moment, but that really hasn't happened this time, and it sucks. So, Sorrow of Warlit was absolutely amazing. I cried at the end. That's the Shadowbringers trial story series, and honestly, it feels like they took a really easy way out with the main story quests for these patches.
I feel like majority of her points is just like, I don't like it, therefore it's bad. They're lazy and they were not considering my feelings. Like, whatever.
The better parts were slice of life stuff. Zero being a character who I like, and is generally pretty well received. And the moments getting to know and sort of chill out with the Scions has been some of the brighter points. So that gives me hope for Dawn Trail, because I think it's going to be more.
And
like
she's
that
showing the
stuff.
scene again.
But God, it has felt stretched out and it's felt like a filler, and that has not been fun. That has not really been very engaging for me. Now, the next thing.
Okay.
I know this is rough, man. The
No, it's not.
next thing, Island Sanctuary.
Island Sanctuary. Let me check the video. So she talked about burnout for a good 5 minutes. She talked about the story for a good 4 minutes. She talked about... Okay, she talked about the story for a good, like, 5 minutes. Well, 4 minutes as well. And she's about to talk about Island Sanctuary for a good, like, almost 4 minutes as well. Island is goated. Yeah, Pato has fucking 50 UCOP clears and he thinks the island is the good shit. God. Okay, let's hear what the fuck she has to say about this.
I literally do not know his
She already talked like she doesn't like the island because she's comparing it to the fucking Worlds of Draenor or Garrison, but
single person that is excited and happy.
I don't know a single person. Again, who are these they? I see a lot of people who play farming games and are excited for any content that comes to Island Sanctuary. Check fucking Twitter.
Happy with how Island Sanctuary turned out. In fact, even when it first came out,
I
remember everybody was kind of
shocked, but a lot of people were excited. So a lot of people were super excited for fucking like the content, to have a little pet farm, to go gather stuff instead of fighting and getting rewards for it.
That like, oh,
Stardew update. She sounds like a rank 10 island boss. Oh
because we
boy.
thought, we're gonna go there and it's gonna be this relaxing island getaway vacation, and we get there.
Beer be
and it's a
eating
fucking
streamers stop right. No.
management sim spreadsheet thing where you need to assign.
Anyone who tries to min-max anything is gonna be a spreadsheet tryhard. Raiders as well. Raiders who optimize mid plans, anything, strats. Everyone's gonna have a spreadsheet. Anything you want to do, well, not do good, but it's like if anything you want to try hard or mid-max in this game, you're gonna spreadsheet it out. But you can also not do that and just do it casual and just chill on the island.
Work schedules to all the little robots, and it's just like.
Mind you, I do have an idea how the islands could be better. Because at the moment it's like, because you're on your own there, it's kind of mid. But if they did actually implement something like the Harvest Moon or Stardew stuff, like where there are at least some population, there's events happening, like feats from Firmament, something like that. Like make it just at least some life breathed into the island, like that you're not just alone with a bunch of fucking little robots. It would make stuff a lot more fun. Or just like random guests, like random NPCs visiting your island, just to either give you extra quests or just extra life, honestly.
Like, what? The general reaction was, wait, we're here to work?
Again, she sounds like she's never played like a farming simulator game, like either Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley or even Minecraft. Like, this is normal. This is a gameplay thing. It's like, if this is not your cup of tea, it's like, go finish your fucking Palace of the Dead quest.
This isn't what I expected at all.
Stardew literally asks you to get all your crop every morning. Yeah, pretty much.
You're there by yourself. There's really no reason to go to someone else's island. Almost a garrison. Yeah, it's the garrison.
She says that, but I know people have RP parties, just like they do with housing items, and because you don't need a house for this, people go there, they start their Twitch stream with the music playlist and the DJ, and they have a fucking grand time. It's like people will find a way to have fun on these islands. It's not something she would enjoy.
Of FXAV, only honestly less fun than the garrison was. It's less.
Again, bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that. Garrison was big pile of shit. Garrison had nothing to do. It was a place where you would teleport to change your specs or talents because you couldn't do it freely at the time. Or you needed to get to a mailbox. Otherwise, bullshit. Island Sanctuary is already by miles better than the garrison.
That's interesting than the garrison. You level up for several hours, and then when you're done, you can fill out the spreadsheet for your workshop. And you can have that done in 15 minutes once a week. And then you really, if you're really into it, that's as much time as it's really gonna take. But you don't, there's really no reason to do it once you have the mounts and like outfits and stuff that you wanted. It doesn't affect the game at all. It really doesn't affect anything.
Nothing affects the game except for savage content. Ultimates don't really affect the game. I clear UCOP, I still had fun, but my weapon doesn't really affect the game. Like, I'm not sure how she was like, I'm open to suggestion. Maybe I'm just being closed-minded on this, but it's like, I would like to hear, like, what game-changing result or gift you want to receive from a personal island where you go to relax, where you were meant to go to relax, even if you have to spreadsheet for 15 minutes, as she said. Like, what was the reward or what game-changing thing she wanted to receive from it?
Anything else, so there's no reason to go to anyone else's.
Maybe she wanted, like, pet battles. Something, I don't know.
Sanctuary, and probably the best thing that they did for it was added so you could put outdoor furnishings there. So, I mean, that was okay, but that's kind of not.
We have that in Saucer. Oh yeah, Lord of Vermilion. To be fair, it's sick, and they should actually add it to Island Sanctuaries, because that would actually be sick if you could just hang out on your Island Sanctuary and people could come over and play Lord of Vermilion with you. That would actually be a good idea.
Not what it was meant to do. Because we have housing. Not everyone does, so that's why this is good, but as replayable content, it's just not it. The Pandemonium
Not a lot of
raids.
content is replayable in this game. Like, nobody goes to Crystal Tower to replay it unless they need the relic weapon.
Story was better than the main story quest. There was
Let's go
playable
back.
content. It's just not it. The Pandemonium raid.
Again, she just essentially just says, I don't like it. It's not my cup of tea. But it's like, no solutions, no like even suggestions, like how to improve it.
Story was better than the main story quest. There was a couple of weird champ raids here and there, but by and large, I've enjoyed it, and that's the thing I'm probably enjoying most in the game right now. I don't think it compares to Eden, but it's still solid and fine. It's good. It's good.
Honestly, out of the 12 fights, 8 fights were mid. Like, 8 fights just didn't need to be there. But like 4 fights, including the carbuncle, like, those were cool. But the story is... I do agree, like, the story was weird, champ.
We could talk about the 2-minute meta all day, but this really... No, we're not going to do that right now. I don't even want to get into it right now because it's a whole can of worms. And it's not going away anytime soon.
Uh-huh.
The Native Dungeon is... okay. It's not great for leveling, unfortunately, which is one of...
What? Did she want... Why is this the first argument? Like, the Deep Dungeon was fun. Like, when we were doing it and trying to clear it, like, the boss fights were fun, and it's like... Obviously, I would love more levels, but it's like, the dungeon was fun. Why is her first argument is like, it's not good for leveling?
of the main
Like, leveling is literally 1% of your total, like, game time. It's like, why is this the thing you want to bring up?
reasons that people do Deep Dungeon over and over for longevity. For replayability, you might notice a trend here where
We literally have content creators that just do that forever. That's their entire content. Angela's Fish is like those two like will always just stream that. That is all they stream. They will play some other games sometimes, but it's like replayability is there.
we're just the replayability is not a thing. It also feels like they
You need Zepla. I don't want to be the one to say, but you need to clear content for it to be replayable.
didn't add enough things that were fresh and new to Deep Dungeon, which is sad because Deep Dungeon I feel like is
Again, suggestions, anything, options. Give us something you like, because otherwise you're just naming things that you don't. Just naming things that are in the expansions and just saying you don't like them. Holy. Maybe I am being too toxic, but it's like a lot of this I'm just hearing like, meh, I don't like it. I don't like it. How would you like it? Anyways, I also don't like this thing. Like, give us options, give us suggestions. Like, what would you like? But otherwise, she's just saying like developers were lazy because they made something I don't like.
some of the best.
You think I'm toxic? I think she's toxic at this point. Like, I think she's just padding words. Maybe she's just generating engagement and views with this video. I don't know. But MMO aren't supposed to be super replayable since it's always updated, no? I mean, MMOs technically need to be replayable because they're not like full-fledged games that you can like get all the achievements and whatnot. Some content needs to be replayable. Raids or yeah, mainly raids, but it's like so whatever additional content MMOs have, it needs to be done. Speaking of replayable content, do you know who is never complaining? Crafters. Their content is super replayable. They're playing the stock market.
Best potential for content in the game that has replayability and longevity, and I really wanted them to add better, more involved progression system within Deep Dungeon.
Like the Deep Dungeon, it wasn't like perfect. It wasn't great compared to the other two. It was still fun and it's still replayable.
I don't know.
I'm just very confused what she's on about. If she's gonna use the word vibe again, I'm just gonna fucking turn off the video.
I don't even know what. Make it more of a roguelite. I wish they would just be a little bit more creative with it. Because right now I just don't know anyone that's interested in it.
I literally named 2 people who are literally streaming that one dungeon nonstop.
Leveling up at it, your Ether Pool armor is really a pain in the ass, and it feels like it's not worth it.
Leveling up in Palace of the Aether Pool armor in Palace of the Dead was also annoying. So was Heaven and High. It's kind of supposed to be annoying to grind out because it makes a lot of stuff a lot easier.
Because it doesn't really affect anything. The rewards aren't really there to incentivize people to do it too. But in terms of content,
The mounts are there, or the weapons.
Deep Dungeon is alright.
The weapons are ugly, but they're still there.
This is the most tragic case, though. Variant and Criterion. Because the content is good. Everybody agrees the content is good.
It's funny because we watched Xeno's video about Criterion before this one. And he literally kept shitting on Criterion Savage. Okay, like Variant, I do agree. It's good content. So is the Criterion Dungeon, but Criterion Savage is absolute garbage can. But oh well.
The fights are well designed. It's innovative. It's fresh. It's like, oh, you got to think about how you're gonna pull the mobs around, and that has been a breath of fresh air. That they have tried to do something new and different.
Why is it poo-poo? Because it's Criterion Savage is the same as Criterion, only you are not allowed to rest, you're not allowed to die, and the reward is just materia. That's why it's poo-poo.
But it's like they take half measures with innovation. They're afraid to risk too much.
Half measures with innovation. We've gotten Criterion Dungeon. Like, we've gotten so much new content that wasn't in previous expansions this expansion. I'm not sure how much innovation she wanted.
change up the formula too much. It seems like they were terrified to add anything into Criterion that, like, any kind of new item that you could get through it, anything that might screw up the strict itemization schedule that they have, where certain types of items drop from the Alliance.
So essentially the usual argument for these dungeons, which to be fair, I do agree. Like clearing and progging a fight, that's always great for once. Once you clear the fight, that dopamine is gone. But replayability is depending on rewards. So I do agree that rewards need to be there, not just the mount, but like other things as well.
It's right, and then certain types of items drop from the dungeon, and it has to be the specific item level, and they don't want to change it at all. They don't want to give you anything that's going to drop anywhere else that's going to be different. And I think they're really crippling their game by not providing, if they're not going to do the gear rewards from this stuff, I don't know, like find something else to make people go do. I don't know, maybe related to a relic, but they chose to take that out of the game this time too. So there's just no reward. There's no reward that anyone cares about in Criterion. Yes, there's like this mount, but you can buy that with guild. So it kind of doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't mean that you clear.
I mean, he's not wrong. I don't agree why that mount is sellable, because then you can just buy both of those mounts. And last time I checked, they were like both 24 million each. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's not just the mount. I hope.
Cleared it. It doesn't mean much. It's a shame. In all my years of playing, I've never seen brand new piece of content die so fast. Brand new content, and in less than a week, no one cared. In fact, I remember the day that Variant and Criterion stuff came out the first time, the Ass and Ass Savage. And I had, taken my time logging in that day, and when I logged in, I saw my friend had already got the Silky mount from the Variant dungeon, from clearing all 12 paths of the Variant without even really trying.
I mean, to be fair, it's like, you can solo that shit. Like, if it's just a variant, that's fine. Variant, I don't think variant is supposed to be replayable. Unless you're gonna make that roguelite as well. But it's like... to be fair, people did have to data mine a bit and figure out the last puzzle to get the secret boss and the secret last ending. You know, the one where you had to bow to or pray to the little shrine.
So they were actually done with Variant.
Yeah,
before I
which
could
is
even
fine.
log in the same day that it came out. There's no reason to return. You can be done with it in a couple of hours.
Other than Eureka and Baja, it's like, what other content do you return to? Like, not a lot of content is meant to be returned to. Like, no one's going back to, like, Eden raids. Like, I love Eden raids, but it's like, I'm not going there for shits and giggles anymore. I go there for mounts, maybe, like, Bis or T or something, but it's like, my 54th UCOP clear for fucking... You can get your 55th on your island, Pato.
And that's frankly unacceptable in an MMO where you want people to be playing together. But I guess maybe they don't. Maybe they just don't want that anymore.
Again, she's using a lot of strong words for just stuff that I don't like. I do agree, like, Variant is not very replayable. Criterion needs to be replayable. Needs to, like, the rewards need to improve for that to be replayable. But normal Variant is like, who gives a fuck? You do your 12th path, you hang out, you enjoy the stories. It's literally, that's your side quests, Zepla. The Variant dungeons are your side quests. You still get the main, your side quests.
I don't know. The PvP changes and addition of Crystalline Conflict is one of the more positive things that I think have happened in this expansion.
I still need to grind PvP, and I'm still reacting to this.
PvP rewards that was meant to keep people engaged with the PvP long term. You can knock it all out in a week or two if you try. So people that do casual, I mean, that still pops fairly often. But if you've done casual, it can get kind of boring. Ranked is really where the fun is, in my opinion. And ranked players, they do this in the first couple weeks and they are gone. There's no.
Again, I feel like she needs to explore the 14 category a bit more. There's not like many, but there's literally people who are playing nothing but PvP. like including this guy who's now called Denial instead of Denugget. It's like there are people who enjoy PvP. There's like this girl who I usually follow for art, but when she's playing 14, she just plays Crystalline Conflict nonstop. She's a red mage main. It's like I feel like Zepla just needs to explore the 14 category a bit more. Like not even like ask people who are playing in game, but it's like just look at at least the category in Twitch.
Further incentive to do it anymore after that. And so, yeah.
But have you considered doing stuff for fun? Replayable fun.
Anytime I complain about it, people just say, oh, well, if you're playing FXAV for the PvP, you're playing the wrong game. And I'm really tired of this defeatist attitude.
I mean, people said that before Crystalline Conflict. Now, like, people either just aren't PvP players, or people who are PvP players, they are playing this. Like, even besides the battle pass.
Frankly. There's also people who do not want the game to ask you to do more. Let me tell you something. You don't need the game to not have stuff in it for you to walk away when you're tired. You can just walk away when you're tired. Unfortunately, the FF14 community has developed a little bit of a reputation for not being able to take criticism at all, and this is really damaging to the game.
Is that me? Am I the F14 community and I'm not liking her criticism? Has she considered that maybe the community is just not liking her opinions?
As well, we need to be able to discuss when things don't feel right, they don't feel as good as they used to be, and I almost feel like people want to say that they're burnt out because it's easier for others to accept than...
Like you in your entire video. I'm very confused. She keeps going in these like circles, and it's like her one point just keeps hitting the other point in the butt.
For them to say, the content this time wasn't fun enough for me. The content didn't make me want to play. The content wasn't something I was excited to do. It's almost like that in itself is a taboo for some people.
She recorded this part after watching her own video. These are like all the parts I just fucking said to her.
To say, and it's easier for them to accept, well, maybe it's on me. It's just I'm personally tired of the game. And I think in a lot of cases, maybe that's not true. Because I've never seen this many people claim to be burnt out, and I think it actually has a lot to do with the content more than people are willing to admit. And I'm tired of hearing people say, whenever we bring up these complaints or any kind of criticism about the game and why I want to be able to play it more, but I can't. I'm tired of hearing people say, well, we don't want this to be a game where it's just this huge grind where you need 30 hours a week to stay up to date. No one is saying that. Stop jumping to this huge extreme conclusion. I hate that people keep doing this. It's driving me crazy.
She does say that she hates this and it's driving her crazy, but she's also not providing a lot of like solutions or like opinions other than I don't like this. She's not like offering any other insight other than that she does not like the current content. And if people don't like it, they're obviously going to be confused, like what more do you want if you're not going to offer any like opposite insight on what you want. But so far I've gone through a 30-minute video. She has not really provided any example of like how to improve any of the stuff in a way that she would like it. Other than, I guess, the relic weapons. She wants to do the crystal tower, I guess. But it's like, her frustration is just, at this point, is just funny. It's like, I'm just... What do you want, Zepla? Other than Genshin Impact drops.
Crazy. Like, just because I say that I would like a very the lightest possible pressure to please maybe log in today or this month, that doesn't mean
She says lightest pressure, but she literally complained by most of the aspects of the current expansion for like 30 minutes.
I want to go full balls to the wall, Shadowlands, renown grinds. I don't want that. No one wants that. No one's asking for that. So stop saying that. What we are saying is that we want to play together. We want to feel like the game is an exciting place to be, at least sometimes, at least for maybe 1-2 weeks after the major patch came out. Okay? I don't want to see people falling off and saying they're bored.
They don't say they're bored. They keep saying they're burnt out. It's a new trend.
week after patch. This is not normal. Okay, I've been around playing this game for long enough to know what's normal and what isn't, and this isn't. I'm seeing really unhealthy.
Zepla, you spend most of the time sitting in a cafe, just reacting content these days. I watch your streams. You barely raid, and even when you raid, you're just chatting to chat or reacting, even when Sully's explaining mechanics. It's like...
These signs right now, and I think this lack of attention to the game from the devs, that's really what it seems like. It seems like laziness, and this hesitation to criticize the game at all on behalf of the player base is going to kill the game.
No, like, I do agree that you need to criticize the game. If you don't criticize the game, it won't improve. But like when you criticize, you need to provide criticism. You need to provide insight. You need to provide examples. Like, because it cannot be just like either the way you like it or you don't like it. There needs to be like it or prefer or like an example of how you would like. Because the developers are not mind readers. Because if any developer watches your video, they're not going to get anything out of it other than that you didn't like the expansion. You need to provide some examples, like what would you do to improve? What would you like to do in game to improve your time? But if all you're going to be saying is just like, I'm angry, I don't like this, people say this and I don't like it, and this content is just lazy, it's like talking to a toddler.
Eventually. Now, I said I don't want to be a doomer, and I don't think the game is dying, but these are things that we need to nip in the bud before they get out of hand. You need to be able to...
How? This is what I'm saying, is like, how? How would you do that?
To admit whenever the content itself is just worse. It's that simple. We're not comfortable with that in this community, because usually every expansion is... like the goose laying the golden egg. It's usually pretty damn good. And I'm willing to accept that it's impossible for any game to keep your attention nonstop all the time. That's not what we're asking for either. But what I do want is to not see most of my friends say things like, well, I guess I'll just come back in Dawn Trail. Now, some people...
First of all, funny screenshot. It's like this happens in every MMO. This happens in World of Warcraft as well. How much you want to compare them to? This happens in Aeon. Well, probably not in Aeon. It happened in Rift. It happened in other stuff. It's like if you're gonna be burnt out, you're gonna go away and come back at a later patch when content comes out. That's what raiders do usually, who are not interested in other content. They will just raid, they will enjoy the raid, get their biss, raid for a bit more, maybe speedrun, maybe do some vlogs, and then they're gonna go away until the next raiding patch, or even next expansion, like for example right now. Not a lot of raiders are gonna come back for Criterion, depending how good it is. But it's like, this is not a big surprise that people would rather just not play the game until potentially better content is. It's just that you're the one that's bored being in game and you just don't like the content that's surrounding you right now. Like, maybe you need to take a break till Dawn Trail with your friends. Hang out with your friends, play Baldur's Gate with them outside of 14.
People are saying, oh, well, it's just because they were so busy working on an FF16 that they had to cut some corners here. I don't know if that's true, and frankly, I don't care. Because
I do agree on that one. Like I mentioned before, like even if like some content had to be cut because of COVID or because of Final Fantasy 16 or whatever excuse, it's like it's not an excuse to give us a worse product than what we are being taught to expect. But on the other hand, I don't understand what is she expecting. I think some people feels like you need to play a game, and it's even truer for content creator that may be afraid to do something else. That's true. I do kind of agree there, but it's like I feel like mainly the people who are the loudest about this stuff are the content creators. There's obviously people who don't like the content, but it's because it's being echoed by the content creators. We currently have like the most amount of content creators with opinions and React content right now, including this. Hi, subscribe. But it's like, you still have groups of people that are not complaining. People who are enjoying content, crafters, RP players, or just like people who are enjoying other content, who are just not afraid to just like step away from Dawn Trail, not complete like the current quest line. I know some people who are have not completed either Manderville or even the main storyline, and are just hanging out in Shadowbringers or doing some other content like Baldesion Arsenal or Baja. It's like, you should not be afraid of FOMO or some other stuff that you need to be on top of everything and then getting bored because you have nothing else to do.
Because the fact is, a lot of people are saying it, and if a lot of people feel that way,
It's me high, I didn't finish main story and Hildy.
There you go.
I mean, he is on the board of directors. He tried to get off it, and they won't let him for some reason. He had been working on FF16, and he's trying to do direct producer of FF14. I just feel like it's too much. They're working this man too damn hard, and he needs to stop doing everything else that he's got his attention split on and focus on FF14. Give it his full, undivided attention for Dawn Trail, because I don't ever want to hear anybody saying again, making excuses for it.
You have to understand that he's the producer. He's not the only person working on the game. There's also a director and the whole creative team. Sorry, I stutter. It's like, he's not the only person that works on this game. You gotta understand. There's also a director, there's also writers, there's also localization teams that are now also there involved. There's music, fight designers. Like, every time there's a fan fest or anything, it's like they bring out this entire fucking team of people who are responsible for the expansion, and there's like teams behind these people as well. It's like, it's not just Yoshida. He's a producer. He can be working on multiple projects. Like, he's obviously very busy, but it's like, the content is not gonna like struggle just because Yoshida wants to work on more projects. It's like, why are you stopping the man's passion? He's passionate enough to work a lot of stuff into what it is right now, including Final Fantasy 16 or some of the content in 14. But it's like, if that was an issue for him, he wouldn't have picked up Final Fantasy 16. They would have literally Final Fantasy 15 that game and just passed it between several directors instead. It's like, this is a lot of assumption that the game is struggling because he's busy.
For them as to why the content seems worse this time around. The main point I hope I can really get across to you in this video is that this isn't black and white. It shouldn't be a choice between so much pressure to log in that there's like FOMO even. You have to log in right now.
That's what I'm saying. Follow your friends. Play some Baldur's Gate. Play other games. Like, chill the fuck out. If the current content around you is not engulfing you in interest, if you're not like tickled with fun, it's like, it's okay to not like an expansion, but it's like, don't generalize it like this, like, all my friends. It's like, that's fine. You don't like it, others do. Go away.
Now or you're missing out. There's somewhere better to be between that and we're not asking you to do anything.
You don't even need to make a choice. Why is she saying like you have to make a choice? Again, there's so much other stuff she could be doing, but it's just this stuff that you don't want to do or don't like to do. That means that's okay. Just do something else other than being stuck in this game.
So why do you care? I guess you need to think of your own reason to care. And most people don't, because they're constantly being barraged on all sides by a million other games that are working very hard to give them lots of reasons to care about logging into those other games. And people have a limited amount of time. And I'm sorry to say, but FXAV needs to fight a little harder for people's time and not take it for granted. People will just always come back and always play. And like, yes, maybe they will for the expansions, but what about the rest of the time? One thing I would say also as another little addendum, DSR was probably the best experience I've ever had in gaming. Clearing DSR, the ultimate raid that came out in Endwalker, was the most fun I've ever had.
I agree. DSR is the best ultimate in the game in general right now. It is the most fun fight. I'm proud of her that she cleared it.
DS a golden.
Exactly. But it's like try some of the other fights as well. You still haven't cleared top. I mean, obviously you don't have to if you don't like the fight, but it's like DSR is a phenomenal ultimate. It's very hard to compare it to any of the other ones, but it's like just making again, like, for 33 minutes, she talked about all the stuff that she doesn't like, and she thinks the developers are lazy, Yoshida is too busy to make this game good, and other stuff, and it's just like, but you know what? I do like DSR. That means DSR is good. But what about the people who don't like DSR? Maybe they hate it. And, like, we even know that some people, like, we had our Dragoon friend Sankray. Sankray, are you still in the chat? Sankray did not enjoy DSR, but he really wanted to do Top, and Top was something he was enjoying doing. It's like, again, it's just a matter of taste at this point.
In a game, period. It was phenomenal. It showed me how amazing battle content in FFXCV can be. It showed me that the game can be so thrilling and so engaging and so exciting when the battle content is designed around what you need to do. It keeps you like invested and engaged, and like your choices matter. And that was so incredible.
Your choices matter. Again, I feel like she's just word padding. I'm not, like, I've cleared DSR. We cleared DSR multiple times, but I'm not sure what the things she's saying mean. What are the choices in DSR?
For me. And so I know how good the game can be, and maybe because of that experience, I continue to set a very high standard for it, and I want them to do the same. Now, that is not actually all I have to say about
Oh shit, really?
this topic, but the next part of this discussion is about the casual experience, and that's going to be my next video, because what I've noticed is, seems like some people like to say, oh well, it's all for the casuals.
No, it's not. People don't really give a shit about the casual content. It's mainly like mid-core content. Not even hardcore, but like mid-core content. Something that like both parties can kind of enjoy. Even casuals, like people who are craft or roleplay, they will go and delve into extreme raids or savage raids. It's like, this game is this game is not for fucking casuals.
They're just dumbing down the game for the casuals. And I got news for you. The casual experience is really suffering as well. And so I'm going to be talking about that.
As a casual player, I can see why she will not like a lot of the stuff she was talking about. But it's like, yeah, whatever.
Next video. And I know some of y'all are not going to be happy that I made a negative video or critical video. But the next one is also going to be pointing out things that could be improved. But I really hope that you can get real comfortable real fast with constructive criticism.
I don't think she knows what constructive criticism is. Because when you provide constructive criticism, it needs to be a little bit more than just like, I don't like this. Provide insight, provide options, provide examples. It's like, provide a bit more than just like, hey, this is bad, I feel like they're just lazy. And it's like, I'm actually interested in like what dramatic takes she can like say on casual content. What is the casual content that she hasn't mentioned yet?
Of the game. We need this. We all need to get real cool about it real quick if we want this game to really thrive, because we need to hear from all sides, we need to hear from all perspectives, and I can hear the canary in the coal mine is what I'm saying, and I want positive change. And so we're never going to get that if we just plug our ears and close our eyes and act like, oh, everything's perfect all the time. That's stupid. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Please tell me about your thoughts on the Endwalker patches. Have you been spending this time putting 200 hours into Baldur's Gate 3 like I have and so many other people have?
Yes, I have.
Is there like, what other games are you playing?
Alright, that was a fun video to watch, I guess.